Hey, hey, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. This is our introduction to our six-part video series where I'm going to teach you my framework for how I think about relationships and also some practical tools to be able to heal your relationship depending on whichever stage you're at. Okay, so welcome. I'm Dr. Kavita San. I am a psychiatrist, a couples relationship coach. My clients call me the marriage whisperer. I am fascinated, endlessly fascinated by the sort of the nuances of human relationships. And I'm always on a quest to learn how to improve them, heal them, so that as a society as a whole, when our families work, when our families are strong, then it's easier for us to actually raise strong, resilient children who will go on to be productive citizens of the world, right? So it's my way of hopefully contributing to making this world a little bit better. So in this video, I wanted to begin by introducing the concept of the different stages or cycles in a relationship. Okay, so every relationship on the planet, any committed relationship on the planet, has three main stages. There are multiple mini stages under each one, but the three main ones are what we're going to talk about today. This will help you, first of all, have some vision, because if you know which stage you're at and you know what the next stage is that you should be aspiring to, and you have some ideas on how you can begin to get there, now you have a plan, right? Rather than just going round and round chasing your own tail, you actually have a map to get to where you want to go. So that's why I want to begin here. Okay, so the three stages are, the first stage is the honeymoon stage, right? So that's when you first meet your spouse, in the first couple of years of meeting your spouse. Think back to that time period, right? Everything felt hopeful, right? There was a rosy tint to the world. You couldn't believe your luck that you found this amazing, beautiful person. You thought of this person as sort of someone that you could see loving long term, someone that you respected, someone that you were fond of and had really soft, tender feelings for, right? And it's often a phase where we are projecting all of our hopes and dreams onto this other person. So in our minds, we are hoping that this other person is going to be the answer to all of our longing, all of our needs and pain. He or she is going to be our jigsaw puzzle. They're going to be our soulmate. They're going to help us feel whole and loved. And it's a wonderful phase. Every relationship that ever ends up in a committed relationship or in a marriage has gone through that phase of feeling pleasure and feeling kinship and oneness. That's what we call the honeymoon phase, or in research, it's called the stage of limerence. It's a very necessary stage, and it's a lot to do with our own neurotransmitters that cause us to have these feelings, and you can't predict for whom you will develop these feelings. That's the mystery of love. It's impossible to know for whom you will have these feelings. Okay, so that's stage one. Beautiful stage. Ecstasy is the stuff that Hollywood films and poetry is made of. Then you're a few years in to the relationship, and now maybe you have chores together, you have jobs that you have to deal with, you have, meals to prep, maybe you have kids, you have bills to pay. And oftentimes, the same things that you found sort of beautiful and moving and lovely about this other person, some of those same things become sources of irritation or annoyance. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, she said, when we were dating, I noticed I always knew that he was absent-minded. He would leave his keys and wallet here and there. But when we were dating, I saw that as a sign of absent-minded genius, right? He's just got so many ideas in his head. He's such an intellectual. He's constantly reading and thinking. So he just doesn't have time for this. That's where I come into his life. I am going to be his eyes and ears, right? And there's some truth to that. Her partner genuinely was a person of ideas. So it's not, a lie that she made up. There's truth to that. But once regular life came between them or surrounded them, that same beautiful characteristic that she's thought of as, attractive became a source of conflict for them. So you might recognize this in your own relationship. There may be things that you thought, wow, she is so easygoing. She just goes with the flow. And that same thing, you may describe it as a lack of ambition now. Or your spouse may have, seemed very protective and strong, and that was something really attractive to you. And now it seems that same thing feels claustrophobic and you feel trapped and even controlled, right? This stage is called a power struggle stage. This is also an inevitable stage for any long-term relationship. It's the stage where you start feeling disillusioned and disappointed. Your spouse that you had on a pedestal unceremoniously just falls off the pedestal and shows themselves to be a very limited, flawed human being. Okay, they push your buttons so easily that you start thinking, gosh, why has he changed so much? How did she change this much? Right? Or was I a fool? I just didn't notice the red flags. We are so not compatible. Maybe I chose the wrong person. Okay. And some of the feelings that clients tell me that they have in this phase is sadness, loneliness, some shame because they're hiding how unhappy their marriage is to the outside world, resentment, feeling like you're giving up parts of yourself just to stay in this relationship, right? Bending over backwards, walking on eggshells, feeling sort of lost, and sometimes feeling like all the passion and interest is drained out of the relationship. So you might think, I care about him or her, but I'm not in love with them anymore. Okay. So how does this show up in the relationship? It often shows up as complaining, criticizing, problem solving, rushing to problem solving, I should say, micromanaging or shutting down, spacing out, not really paying attention, being on your phone a lot or staying at work longer than you have to or spending a lot of time with your friends, trying to get your emotional needs met elsewhere, trying to avoid each other here and there so you don't have to deal with this tension, right? So one or both of you might be getting into conflict, or one of you might be the person who brings up the complaints and the other one just shuts down or minimizes it. Or both of you might be starting to shut down and sort of live in a roommate kind of situation, right? Whatever form it takes, it's all variations of the power struggle, okay? Now, here's the thing. Some couples, because of their own temperament and because of asking for help and learning ways to get out of this, or because their families of origin taught them intuitively how to get out of the power struggle phase because they saw their parents do it beautifully. For whatever reason, some couples know how to come out of this power struggle. Everyone ends up there, but some of us know how to get out. Whereas some of us, like me, for a long, long time, do not know how to get out of this, and we get stuck in it, either staying in one relationship in a very toxic cycle or bouncing from one relationship to the other, thinking, if I just find my right person, this is obviously not the right person, I made a mistake. If I just find the right person, it'll all work out. Okay? And modern society encourages us to do that, right? What? You're not in love with your spouse? You should leave. You deserve to be in love with your spouse. That's kind of how modern society is. It's almost like it's shameful to stay rather than leave. So some of us intuitively know how to get to the other side. Some of us either get stuck or get stuck in the cycle, but we jump from relationship to relationship. Either way, it's a very painful cycle, right? If we know how to get out of that, though, on the other side is phase 3, which is marital bliss. Okay, this is the phase where you have mature, juicy, interdependent, not codependent, but not independent or distant. It's interdependent, mature, juicy, passionate, playful love, where 1 + 1 is greater than 2. To get to that, though, we need to know how to get out of the power struggle, right? And there's actually 2 parts to getting out of the power struggle. Most couple therapists out there only focus on one part, which is why much of the time couples counseling doesn't work, right? So one of the parts that couples counselors all over the world, and certainly in the United States, focus on is healing the relationship, improving communication, improving connection, going on date nights. All of that is great. All of that is wonderful, but it is not enough. See, we all bring our own sort of longings and hurts and disappointments and raw spots and strengths and ways of seeing the world from our own past into the relationship. I call that your hidden agenda. Not because it's some sort of devious thing that you're hiding, not at all. It's only hidden because you don't know it yourself. You don't know what it is. It's hidden even from you. It's in your subconscious, right? So if you don't know it, how are you going to heal it? How is your partner going to help you heal it? And vice versa, it's impossible. That's why I call it the hidden agenda. You have a hidden agenda, your partner has a hidden agenda as well. Part 2 of healing and getting out of this power struggle is being able to bring out the hidden agenda from our blind spots, knowing how to do that, and there's a process for knowing how to do that, figuring out all the different components of that, and then healing the different components of that. Okay, that pillar is equally important to communication or connection or passion or intimacy and all these other things in the relationship space. Because if you are not healed and whole, how are you ever going to create a healed and whole relationship? It's not possible. We can only create the maximum growth that we've reached, right? So in the next few videos, I'm going to teach you some new ways of thinking and seeing this pattern of the power struggle, and also some tangible skills that you can use to be able to begin to move past the power struggle. Okay? Because I want to get you to the other side. Because on the other side is heaven on earth. I promise you. I have experienced the hell of the up and down relationship, the power struggle, being in and out of different relationships, being stuck in a relationship for a long time, feeling trapped and lost. I've gone through all of it. Okay. I know how painful each of those patterns are, but I also know how it feels to be on the blissful side. And I can tell you, it's not just your marriage, your whole life will open up to you, full of possibilities and full of growth and joy when you know how to get out of this power struggle into the blissful state. That happened to me. So in the next few videos, keep your eyes peeled. We're going to go into how to actually strengthen your foundation so that you can create a house, which is your marriage, that will last a lifetime. Okay? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.